Devi described this body like a spoiled brat once. It really feels like that sometimes. Need this and need that and need that. But the positive side is it makes you just become disgusted. Like having to deal with material and things that previously maybe you thought were enjoyable, you just become disgusted.
Everything. Embarrassed.
Yes. Yes, exactly, embarrassed. Like I had this ulcer, and then like even if you're not hungry, sometimes you have to eat, you know. It's like otherwise it's gonna shout.
Oh really?
Yeah, because to calm down the acid. Like I'm not hungry and I have more important things to do. I don't want to eat now, you know. Like previously, maybe you'd be very happy to have it, you know, to just eat whatever you want. But then it's like, I don't want to eat now, and you're telling me I need to eat. Like this is really annoying, you know, and embarrassing, as you said. And so many things.
Yeah.
But we see how it is. It's giving us that detachment and that disgust.
I remember Goswami Maharaj once and I showed Gurudev was in Calcutta. Sometimes he had a paper, like an essay, he wrote something and he put it on the board down the stairs.
Goswami Maharaj.
Yeah. And then one time I thought that was so interesting and I showed Gurudev, oh look what did he wrote. He said, the body is a biological expression of the soul's illusion.
Yes, I remember that. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Biological expression of the soul's delusion. Yes. Okay. But then, when we face all those things, it makes us appreciate what we have even more. Like Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
It can also become an impediment of you wanting to do service. Then it gets in another plane, you know?
Yes, that is definitely true. But on the other side of things, this is the thing, if we're sincere, everything will come to push us to go deeper, right? So when those obstacles come, it makes us value that service so much. It becomes so much more meaningful to us. When we're not able to do it, it's like we have that separation, then we realize, oh, I need that as my life, you know. It becomes so much, just being able to get up in the morning for arati, and you can't do that. You suddenly appreciate it so much more.
Yeah.
You know? That's the thing, if we are sincere, all of these things, and that's really, we can, with the highest vision, we can think like that. That's why they're coming.
Exactly.
It's not an accident, but they are pushing and adjusting us to help us go deeper and deeper in our service connection, in our service aspiration, in our desperation, in our necessity. Our necessity for Krishna consciousness needs to increase.
And knowing that he is guiding you, he is there to guide you. That, I mean, there's nothing without him that you can live on or with.
You know, there's nowhere else to go.
Nowhere else to go. So this is his plan, and so what do I have to do with that then? How do I have to behave in this?
Yes, that is the hallmark of true surrender. To come to that realization. I don't feel I'm getting anywhere, but at the same time, I have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do but keep trying.
Not that I know that I've realized that completely. Talking.
Bhumo skalita padanam, bhumir eva valambanam, tvai jata padanam, tvam eva sharanam prabho. Srila Gurudev would cite that example. If you fall on the ground, you're using the ground to help yourself up again. And in the same way, Lord, despite what mistakes we are making, you are our only shelter. We have nowhere else to go. And whatever I am, whatever I was, whatever I will be, I'm yours. With whatever little I have, whatever nothing I have, I'm yours. We were reading that verse the other day. Na dharmanishtosmi na chatma vedi na bhakti mams tvak charanaravinде akinchano nanya gati sharanya tvat padamulam sharanam prapadye. So nice. Oh my Lord, I don't know anything about Dharma. I don't know anything about Bhakti. Na dharmanishtosmi na chatma veda. I don't know anything about the Vedas. But such as I am, I'm offering myself to you. Such as I am, I'm offering myself to you. So how can the Lord refuse such a prayer? His heart must be moved by such a pathetic cry for help. That's actually one of the biggest things. These things that we face, these limitations that we find, it really brings about a deep sense of humility. As you said, it's embarrassing. That naturally makes you very humble. To realize your limit, even just like bodily, physical limitations, you realize you have, it really humbles you. Really brings you to this helpless state. Like, I'm not in control at all. I can't even, basic bodily functions I cannot control.
Nothing.
It's like, what do I have under my control?
That is so fascinating, actually, that people are so proud of their body and their capabilities that they think it's them and they have done all this and thought this all out and planned out. Well, the evidence is so obvious that nothing they can do. Everything is controlled.
Yes.
That they're so proud to think that.
Yes.
It's so obvious that they have nothing to do with it all.
Yes. It is all a passing show, as Gurudev would say, here today and gone tomorrow. So we have to try and take shelter of higher truths and our beloved Lord. Okay. Well, this is very in the mood of the second verse of the Siksastakam, which we are coming to now.
It's so high, everything.
What did you say?
The former passages of the song.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And everything's so high.
High talks from a low tongue.
We are so happy to hear from you.
Utila Vishadoinya Padeyapan Shlok Jaharta Shunisav Jayadukha Shok. Lamentation and humility awoke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began reciting another of his own verses. By hearing the meaning of that verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. And now we come to the second verse, which we all know. Nam Namakai Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Atrarpita niyamata smarane na kala itajishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivam ijisham ihajini nanuraga. O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity, and therefore you have many names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls, by liberally teaching your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, this is my Mahaprabhu says, this is my dur daiva, this is my misfortune, that you've given everything on your side. You haven't given just one or two names, but you've given so many names, and you've invested all of your potency in all of those names. Any of these names can deliver us. And not only that, but you haven't made any rules, hard and fast rules about how and when and at what time they should be chanted. But like if you're going to chant Gayatri Mancham, then you have to take a shower, you empty stomach, facing a particular direction, dressed in clean cloth and full tilak. But when it comes to simply chanting the Lord's names, any time, any place, anywhere, no problem. Any circumstance, you can call upon the name of the Lord. So you are so merciful. You've given everything. Like there's one scholar, he commented on the Sarva Dharmam Prityaja verse. Krishna is giving nectar on a golden plate. Gurudev liked that. Nectar is enough, but nectar on a golden plate. Everything is there. So you are so merciful, Krishna. You've given everything and more. But what is and I can get everything through that, is you've made it so easy. And I can get everything through this very easy method. But, slight problem. Little hitch in your master plan. I don't have any attraction to that name. I have no desire for it. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, I don't have the minimum required deposit to obtain the grant. We're ready to give you a grant. You just have to make some tiny little deposit. But I don't have that. We're ready to give you a big grant. You just have to give us this tiny little sum. But I don't have that. But this, Srila Sridhar Maharaj also points out that the very nature of this realization, it makes us qualified. Because this naturally makes us humble. Realizing our lack of qualification, it humbles us. And humility is the first thing that will attract the Lord. So then this, of course, brings us to the third verse. And then we should also mention here, so literally in the verse, it says, uses this word dur daiva. Dur daivam ijisham ihajini nanuraga. Anurag, attachment, love. Nanurag, no attachment. So this is my dur daiva, my misfortune. I have no attraction, no love to your holy name. And so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's explained in his commentaries on these verses that this is referring to offense. The offense is to the chanting with an offensive or materialistic, egoistic mentality. So we can maybe briefly mention those just as a healthy reminder. You can say the first offense to the holy name. Well, I know Sachiti remembers.
First, is it like offense to the Vaishnavas?
Yeah, sadhu ninda. That is the most important one. That is the worst one, most serious. Sadhu ninda. To offend the sadhus. The sadhus, they are so dear to Krishna, they are more beloved to Krishna than his own self. And they are the ones who are spreading his holy name in this world and connecting us with that. So if we dishonor them, disrespect them, the name will not be pleased with us. He will not bestow his grace upon us. So that is the first. And of course, the inverse is also true. If we can appreciate and serve the Vaishnava, then the name will be pleased with us. So it is mentioned, Sadhu Sangha Krishna Nam, Macha Chai. These two things is Jagadananda Pandit. Sadhu Sangha Krishna Nam, Sadhu Sangha and Krishna's name. These are the only things that I want. Samsara jinitar konvashtunai. And there is no other way to conquer over samsara.
And Doya, what is it? Namamuchi, Vaishnava Seva, and
Jive Doya. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. That is the whole of Mahaprabhu's conception in a nutshell. These three teachings. Vaishnav Seva, to serve the Vaishnavas, Name Ruchi, to serve the name, and yes, the same is there, and Jiva Doya, to be merciful to others by distributing that. Yes, it is there. Same thing. Excuse me. So yes, Jiva Doya, Name Ruchi, Vaishnav Seva. So Sadhu Ninda, this is the first, and really it is the one that we really need to pay the most attention to. If we don't know the rest and we know that one, we're okay. Appreciate the Vaishnavas. This was really Gurudev's main teaching. And that was why he gave so much importance to the third verse of the Siksastakam, which we're about to come to. Because that will save us from making offenses to the Vaishnavas, from disrespecting the Vaishnavas. Difficult, because we see so many, even in the case of a pure Vaishnava, we may see many human characteristics in them. They may make some material mistakes, exhibit very human symptoms, and then we dismiss them, we judge them. But then, of course, it's very difficult in the case of practitioner devotees who really do have faults, who really are making mistakes and doing things wrong and are full of anarthas. Then it is very difficult to be able to overlook that, to keep a positive, optimistic spirit. But the Gurudev, as he said, my religion is finding fault with myself and to glorify the devotees. So this is our focus, to correct ourselves and to seek goodness in others. That is the challenge that we face, to optimistically overlook the faults that we find in others. That will help us, that will help them. And in this way we can unitedly progress forward, if we can maintain that type of spirit. But if we're really honest and we really see how many faults we have ourselves, we won't have time to look at other people's faults. If we're serious about making progress and we realize how many faults are within us, we'll be very busy with that. We'll be very busy with that. And the faults that we see in others, we will see as lessons for ourselves. We will see how we can learn from that. This Gurudev said, this was Srila Sridhar Maharaj's teaching. If you see a fault in a Vaishnava, you have to see that Krishna is showing that to you to teach you. It is for your benefit, for your instruction. Ignore the apparent objective exterior. Take it in a purely subjective way. See how it applies to you. So these things also come to test our sincerity of seeing the faults in others.
And to also show you where you're at, that you have not conquered that yet, that you have not been, what you explained the other day, equiposed in happiness and unhappiness and the strength inside. There's an inner progress, right? With your chanting, with your service, with your realization of how beautiful opportunity this all is. When you can realize yourself. It's in a progressive, gradual.
Yes. Okay, so that is the first obstacle, and the second, to see that the second one, it is given in two ways. One is to consider that Krishna is on the same level as the demigods, or to make distinction between Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. And then the third offense, Guru Ninda, to just, I think it's called Martya Buddhi, I think, third offense. But it's referring to Guru, to see the Guru in a materialistic, Gaurvagya, I think it's Gaurvagya. To disobey the Guru, to disrespect, to disobey the order of the Guru. Or maybe it's Martya Buddhi, I can't remember. But anyhow, it is connected to the Guru. It is about disrespecting the Guru, dishonoring the Guru, seeing the Guru in a materialistic way. That is the third offense. And then the fourth offense, I think, is Shastra Ninda. And of course, this is referring to the scriptures of pure devotion. The scriptures, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, that are not pertaining to the relative truth of this world, but truth that is connected to the eternal whole. He said it like along those lines. To disrespect, to dishonor those scriptures, which are actually glorifying the name, that will be an offense to the name. And then the fifth offense, fifth and sixth I always mix up. But one of them is to consider the glories of the name to be an exaggeration, because so many things are told in the scriptures about the power of the name. There was one day Gurudev, he was in Sokel, I think. He was contemplating this expression. Well, it wasn't so much contemplating, it was kind of more like he was trying to bring home a point to the devotees who were there. That Srila Haridas Thakur's statement that just through we were discussing this last night, I think, just through namabhas, mukti can be attained. And of course, this is referring to mukti from the negative side, not positive mukti. And in other places, our gurus, they are dismissing that even as an obstacle on the path of pure devotion. Namabhas Srila Sridhar Maharaj is very strong on that point. That, namabhas, we want to avoid namabhas. But, a shadow chanting. But here, Gurudev was seeing it from another perspective. Like, compared to where we are now, like, that would be That would be a step up, you know. That if we could attain liberation from our materialistic tendencies, that would help us very much. So he was putting some emphasis on this point. You know, Haridas Thakur said this, so it must be true. You know, we have to really think about that. Just by namabhas we can get mukti. Just by a shadow of the name we can get liberation. So to dishonor these types of statements, and there's also that famous one that a sinner, I cannot remember the Bengali, but a sinner cannot commit as much sin as one name of the Lord can remove, you know. So to think that these things are an exaggeration, that, again, in that discussion with Haridas Thakur, in that same discussion, there's that, which we mentioned last night, there's that man who challenges Haridas Thakur. How is this possible? You know, we may engage in austerity and meditation for hundreds, thousands of years, and we may not get that. How are you saying just by namabhas is a name so powerful? It is not possible. I don't believe it. So this is an example. And then to try to interpret the name through the help of through like grammar and, you know, dictionary meanings. Like Srila Sridhar Maharshi commented, like the name Hari, it has many different meanings. It means to steal, it means lion. So to analyze so many different meanings in this type of materialistic way, dictionary type of way, this is an offense to the name. Srila Jagadananda Pandit, his famous expression, Namakar, is it Namakar? Oh, I haven't said that for a long time. Namakar Bahirdai Bhakti Nam Kabunoi. That the name does not exist within the syllables of the name. You know, then other persons will debate about exactly the right way to pronounce. That it's all down to pronunciation. You know, like some expert dance move or lifting some weights. You do it in this particular way, and then you got it. You know, it's not a physical movement or materialistic sound vibration. The name exists independent of these syllables. The name has his own will. He can be present or not be present. He is not limited to these syllables. So to approach the name in that type of way, that is an offense. And then to equate the name with ordinary pious activity, like, you know, charity, giving in charity, or other like mode of goodness type things, meditation or yoga, austerity, all of these things, various philanthropic works, service to humanity, or service to the cows. This is one trap devotees fall into. Srila Sridhar Maharaj is very strong on that point. I am not a member of the Save the Cow Committee. Very heavy. So to equate the name with these, you know, like mode of goodness type things, that is an offense.
Like pious karma.
Yes. The name is independent, supreme. It is wholly connected with the nirgun plane, with the transcendental plane. It has no touch of this world. Nothing of value in this world can come close to anything with the smallest connection of that nirgun plane. So we cannot compare the two. They're characteristically different. The The name is connected to the welfare of the eternal aspect of ourself. It can give us entrance into that eternal plane. It has nothing to do, as Didi said, with the pious karma of this world. So that is an offense. Oh yes, of course, Nam is very good, but there's also so many other things, don't forget those other things, yagya, fire sacrifice and charity and so on and so forth. Sripad Sagar Maharaj, he said that, in ISKCON, Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he established that they have fire. Normally we have fire sacrifice, second initiation, but Srila Swami Maharaj, he established for first initiation also. And later when Sripad Sagar Maharaj came to Srila Sridhar Maharaj and developing his understanding, he thought, hang on, this doesn't make sense. Why should you, if the name has such a supreme position, why should you need a fire sacrifice? And so he asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj about this, and he said, in a time of famine, distribute food by any means. So yes, it is not necessary. The name is supreme to fire sacrifice. It's not that one needs a fire sacrifice before taking the name. The name is independent and supreme to that. But Srila Swami Maharaj, he started that to encourage some faith in his followers. If you have a big fire sacrifice, it's very impressive. It will encourage you very much, make you take it very seriously. The path of Ragamarg is so simple. No paraphernalia, no trappings, nothing is required. It's just simple heart exchange. That is all. Actually, all that is needed is that the guru accepts the disciple and the disciple accepts the guru. That is all. You don't need anything else. Even the japa, that's something that's come. Mahaprabhu didn't have japa. He counted on some knotted pieces of cloth. Srila Trivikram Maharaj, he told me that, even the whole ceremony that we do, that's really for the faith of the disciple, Trivikram Maharaj, he told me that that his brother took initiation by telephone with Srila Gurudev. And he was in Brazil, and Srila Gurudev was in India. And afterwards, Gurudev told Trivikram Maharaj, the initiation depends on his faith. Depends on his faith. His faith in me. That is the real connecting link. So, it was done by telephone, because that is the real substantial thing, which is invisible to us. We can't see that, we can't touch it. We don't see any fancy arrangement, but that's the substantial thing. That's the real thing, faith. And then if we're going to analyze more, then we will say, actually, the initiation, Gurudev has also mentioned this, the initiation depends on the degree of surrender of the disciple. And he quoted this is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Diksha Kale, Bhakta Kore, Atma Samarpan. Se Kale, Jai. Diksha Kale, at the time of Diksha, the time of initiation, Diksha Kale, Bhakta Kore, Atma Samarpan. When the disciple surrenders themselves. This is really what initiation means, that the disciple surrenders to Guru. So, are we real disciples, or are we disciples in name only? Is it a substantial thing, or is it a formal thing? That question we have to ask ourselves. We are aspiring to be disciples, actually. We pray that one day we can be real worthy disciples of our Gurudev.
I'm so useless.
Oh, Sachi Didi.
Vishakha Didi ki jai.
You're shaming us. Jai. Sachi Didi ki jai. So, yes, very serious things here we're discussing today. We're questioning the very foundation. There was, I think it was Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, or maybe Srila Sridhar Maharaj, I can't remember. I think I heard from Devi, he put on some tilak and he said, like, now I'm putting on my disguise. You know, like, I'm making some show that I'm a Vaishnava. I'm wearing tilak and Vaishnava cloth and kunti mala. I'm making a show to deceive the people. You know? So in the beginning we may be very proud to have a nice tilak and nice dhoti or nice sari and big kunti mala. But if we really make substantial progress on the path, we will realize, oh, am I really, like, is this a real expression of my devotion, or is this just some show? That moment will come to us. So then, verse number 8, to sin and chant, to make the name a ploy, that we will do what we like, we will behave in our selfish way for our own gratification, and we will think, oh, it is okay. The name can remove more sin than a sinner is able to commit. So it's okay. I will do whatever I like, and then I will take the name at the end of the day. No problem. This is like the Christian conception, right? During the week, well, maybe it's a bit outdated now, but you do what you like, and then you go to your priest, maybe on Sunday, and you get so many Hail Marys, or whatever it is, or maybe you pay some money also, and then I'll be excused. And then Monday starts, and then I go back to whatever I was doing. So this is an offense to the name. And we really have to question what it is that we want, because the thing is, the name can give us material, the name can fulfill our material desires. It is namaparad, it is offensive chanting. We may get, this is mentioned by Srila Bhakti Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, I believe. That is a type of namaparad. The name has that power. It can give you those things that you want. And sometimes, devotees can chant and find, oh, they're suddenly getting so many things, but and they're thinking it's a good sign, it's a good symptom. But actually, on the materialistic side, yes, it's a good symptom, but on the spiritual side, it's a very bad symptom. If it is coming if it is coming out of some real service necessity, that's another thing. But if it's really coming as a result of namaparad and one's own selfish desires, then of course that is a very bad thing. So then we really have to question ourselves at the core and ask ourselves, what is it that we really want? Do I really have faith that no attainment of this world can compare even slightly with the remotest connection of that higher plane? Do I really have that type of faith? That small touch of the pure thing, of the real thing, of the substantial thing is infinitely more valuable than all the wealth and attainment of this world. Do we really have that faith? Or do we get, bedazzled over all the things that this world has to offer, name and fame and wealth and so on and so forth. And of course the scary thing is when those attainments, they get mixed up with our spiritual practice. If some pratishta, some position comes to us because of our spiritual qualification, then things get very blurry. It's one thing if you're getting a position in the outside world, and then you're coming here and you're clearly seeing the distinction. But the danger is when within your devotional practice, that position or wealth or power, followers is coming to you, and you're seeing it as like a result of your spiritual attainment. It's very dangerous, very, very dangerous. There's one talk of Srila Sridhar Maharaj where he talks about this, how we must be very, very careful and always remember how rare this is, and that we cannot mark our progress by our like apparent achievement, how many disciples and followers and temples and how well we can speak and so on and so forth. We cannot mark our progress like that. He said we must be very, very careful.
It's not ours, it's all given. It's not our property.
Yes, if we maintain that consciousness, then we're safe. And he can take away. But this is where we have to really question ourselves. What is it that we really want? Because actually Krishna can give us whatever we want. Generally that's what he does. He gives people what they want. So we really have to question how deep-rooted is our faith. How much faith do we really have in the higher and more subtle things? It's very, very heavy question we have to make to ourselves. Well, maybe it's a good place to stop for today. Well, maybe there's just a couple verses which are describing this verse. I'll just read that. We can stop with that. Anek loker vansha anek prakar, vipate kodilo anek namer prachar. Because people vary in their desires, you have distributed various holy names by your mercy. It is mentioned, why does the Lord appear in so many different forms? In order to reciprocate with the different desires of his devotees, according to how they want to see him. Some of them want to see him like Ramchandra, some want to see him like Nrsingadev, and so on and so forth. Then he is reciprocating with their heart's desires to satisfy his devotees. And so, in the same way, he has so many different holy names which will satisfy persons in different ways, or will attract them in different ways. Even, we don't need to go to he's like reaching to the lowest level. So even, according to persons like mundane concocted ideas, he's appearing in a way that can attract them, right? So like, for example, Krishna, very difficult to understand because he appears to be immoral. But Ramchandra, he's like the paragon of virtue and morality according to our mundane ideas. So it's much easier to appreciate him, and he appeals to a wider, because everything that our mundane ideas tell us about what goodness and morality and virtue is, we find that perfectly epitomized in Ramchandra. So that will appeal to a particular class. So he's like, appearing in ways in order to to connect with people at whatever conception they are at. He even appeared as Buddha, right? And reaching atheistic conception. Oh, I never finished. I'm really jumping all over the place. I didn't finish going through the 10 offenses. Pious activity. Wait, well, I'll just finish this, because I already started this, and then we'll do that. Kaite shuti atta tata mama loy kaladesha niyam nahi sarva siddhi hoy. Regardless of time or place, one who chants the holy name, even while eating or sleeping, attains all perfection. Sarva shakti name dila koriya vibhaga amarda daiva name nahi anuraga. You have invested your full potencies in each individual holy name, but I am so unfortunate, I have no attachment for chanting your holy names. Jai Shri Krishna Jai. So let's see. So then the 9th offense, right? We're up to the 9th offense, right? We did the 8th offense. And then the 9th offense, you remember the 9th offense? Do you remember?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I know Sachiti knows. To preach to the faithless. Person to have no faith in the name. And different comments have been made about that. I think the most important understanding of that offense is that we are trying to spread the name, but actually with the objective of gaining name and fame for our own self. That is really what is the serious implication of that offense. That we are, whether it's trying to make disciples or trying to have the largest number of books distributed, like that. That is really the offense. That we're really doing it for our own pratishta, for our own position. That is really the offense. And then also, not in a less serious way, to persons who clearly have no interest, or rather you're actually giving them an opportunity to make offense, you're forcefully trying to tell them. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are those descriptions given of the Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam Adhikar Vaishnav. And it is the description of the Madhyam Adhikar Vaishnav, the middle class Vaishnav. It gives us something to aspire after, like something that we can try to practice. And it mentions there Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. That the Madhyam Adhikar will have love for the Lord, friendship with the other devotees, mercy upon the ignorant, or those who are inferior in realization, lower, mercy for them, and they will be indifferent to those who are inimical, those who are opposed, those who are against. They will be indifferent. It's not that we have to we are not supposed to imitate Nityananda Prabhu. He's chasing after the most degraded and difficult persons to try to convert them. Nityananda Prabhu can do that. But for us to do that is very foolish, and we can be the ones who become converted. Because we can be influenced by that negative association, and we can invite that person to make offense, and we ourselves, our faith may be weakened by their association. And I just saw, I don't want to mention the name because we're being recorded, but I just saw a very sad case like that. One of our prominent devotees who did so much service for Gurudev, so much service for the mission, but there was some man who was preaching on the internet against our gurus, against Mahaprabhu's conception. And our devotee thought, oh, I have to like teach this person. And so for 2 years they were in debate, going back and forth, on and off, for 2 years, his wife told me. And then at the end of that, our devotee said, this man's defeated me. I have no response to him. He was influenced by that association. But I thought, we are exactly told not to do that. We're not interested in just getting into it like an argument, a debate. If somebody's not interested, just leave them alone. You know?
So long?
Yes, for 2 years. And so he was influenced by that association. And he himself went to that side. So we are exactly told not to do that. You know, if somebody is receptive, if somebody is open-hearted, if somebody wants to hear, then we will share something with them. And for Uttam Adhikar, for the eternally liberated souls, they can do whatever they like. They have that type of power. You know, they can do anything. You know, so they are not restricted. But we have to be careful to not commit offense ourselves or lose our own faith or to cause others to make offense. So we have to be careful. Of course, sometimes we may approach somebody. You know, Shachi Didi knows she's always out on the fields, and we may not know how persons will respond, right? So you're taking some risk. You're approaching someone thinking, oh, they look friendly, they look like they'll be receptive, and maybe they won't be. Then okay, then you back off. You know, you don't need to like force it. You know? If sometimes we're doing Harinam outside of somebody's shop, and they tell us, move out of the way, you're making too much noise, then we move. You know, we don't say, hey, don't you know what we're doing? This is the most important activity in the world. Like, how can you tell us this? No, we say, okay, please excuse us. You know, then we go. Then he'll get some good impression of the devotees that may help him, and then we can peacefully continue. Of course, we see in the case of Mahaprabhu, he led a movement against the Qazi, right? He brought Harinam to his doorstep with thousands of people and flaming torches. But what were the circumstances? That Qazi was trying to ban kirtan at all. You know, so Mahaprabhu had to do something. He was trying to completely ban any kirtan in the city of Navadvip. So Mahaprabhu had to make some statement. He couldn't stand for that. So that is the 9th offense. And then the 10th offense, this is the most difficult one. The first one is the most dangerous and the most serious. And the 10th one, it is the most difficult to avoid. And that is to have material attachment. And that example is given of the anchor, that you're on your boat and you're rowing, but it's tied to an anchor, and so you're not going anywhere. So in the same way, we can be doing so many practices, but that anchor is there holding us back, and we're not going forward. And so that offense, it actually, in a way, just hearing it, it doesn't make sense. It's like it's not fair. Like, how can I be free? It's like, I'm not choosing to have these. It's a bit late now. I already signed these contracts like thousands of lifetimes ago. I can't become free all of a sudden. Like, this is like not fair. But the way that Srila Gurudev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj have explained that offense is that what it really means is that the name, when we receive the name in the proper when we receive the name from the pure Vaishnava, we've made genuine contact with the name, then the name will it's kind of actually what we need to do is like go along for the ride. Like where the name wants to take us, we have to go with that. The name, it will like start to create some devastation within us, trying to like break up, shake up all these things that we're holding so tightly, that hridaya granthi, those knots on the heart. And so different things will come, different circumstances will come that are trying to like loosen that, unloosen, as Srila Maharaj says. So our fault is to resist that. That is the real offense. To resist that pull, where the name is trying to take us, to resist that. To hold tight to our materialistic conceptions of who we think we are, what we think Krishna consciousness is, what we think the environment is, about what we think is good, what we think is bad, right, wrong, to hold very tight to our very limited ideas of these things. We have to like be free, be open, try to see which way the name is trying to pull us. So that is very difficult, very, very difficult. And these tests, they will come and come again until we can pass them and we can learn our lesson. So that is very difficult. To not have fear, because we're afraid. That is the real thing. We're afraid. We're afraid we won't be represented, that our gain, our welfare will not be, our interest, that's the word I'm looking for. We're afraid that our interest is not represented in whatever is coming to us. We can't see that actually our highest interest is represented there. That in this circumstance, the Lord's grace is directly behind it, and He's coming to adjust me in some way. He's trying to promote me to a higher level of devotion, but I'm seeing it as an obstruction and I'm resisting it. I'm thinking my interest is not represented there.
But you have already the background that you have been already so blessed with this. That gives you strength to make another installment, isn't it?
Well, for persons like you.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, every installment, every time, you will get a bit more strength to continue. It's not that at a certain point you think, oh, there's nothing there for me. It's like already we have been so blessed already, and then more strength coming. It is like some evidence of protection and help and mercy for everybody who's on this path, isn't it?
Yes, if we are consciously practicing, as you're describing beautifully, if we are consciously and sincerely practicing, we will feel the tangible reality of that in our lives, of course, as you say. But we have to be surrendered to come to that realization. Not everybody can come to that conclusion. Depends how deeply we are going within the practice.
I think also sometimes people or devotees, aspiring devotees, forget how it was before they came in contact with Krishna consciousness. They forget things, how it already has enriched their lives. We forget so many things, right? So many help, so much wonderful encouragement and new life of, seeing things or getting strength.
Yes.
For everybody. Even non-devotees. It's just we don't see it, we forget, and we're so immersed in other.
Well, you're speaking from a very high level, Shachi Devi. Well, I think it's a good place to stop. Ramanand, do you want to chant? Or maybe not, huh? Okay. Radharani, ¿quieres cantar?